Hey guys, welcome back to Car Audio Fabrication. I'm here with old man Car Audio Fabrication, my dad. As you guys know, I've recently been working on this Chevy Equinox for my dad. The focus with this build being sound quality, a little bit of a bass upgrade, and this is your daily driver, so we want to maintain kind of the stealth look and the flexibility of it being a daily driver. So we don't want to take up cargo space, we want it to sound good. So what I want to do in this video is, this is my dad's first time actually seeing the build. I want to do a walk around, show him everything along with you guys, and then we're going to do a test listen. Sound good? Cool. Let's do it. So the first thing I wanted to show you is how we did the power connection here at the battery. You can see you have your fuse holder here. I used a ABS plate and actually mounted to the factory bolt location here. So no added like drilling into the body, anything like that. Picked up a factory location, and this is your main system fuse. So on this main power wire lead that goes to the back of the vehicle, if anything goes wrong, we protect the wire by having this fuse.
It looks like it's in an easy spot to access, in case we need to. So.
Yep. And
would this be the first one to blow if we had a problem?
Yeah, well, so there's a couple other fuses that I'll show you in the back, so those would likely go first. But if there was any sort of issue, this is more to protect the wire. So if there's any sort of issue, like if it were to wear through or if there was an accident or something like that, you don't have to worry about the wire completely shorting out and lighting on fire. That fuse is going to go first.
Okay. It doesn't stick out at all. I like the tape. It really looks like it just came out of the factory that way. It doesn't look like it was put in aftermarket.
Right, exactly. That's the goal. So let's take a look at the back next. So in the back of the vehicle, again, with this being a daily driver, the goal is to keep all of this cargo area and to remain stealthy. So just looking in here, looks completely OEM. Would you agree?
Yep. Look clean.
Nice and clean, yeah. So what we're going to do is, just so you guys know, I want to make sure that you guys can see the amplifiers while we're talking about them. So this piece here hinges. We're just going to temporarily hold it up in place. So if we did have to change a spare or access our amplifiers or access any of the fuse blocks, we just pull out this factory piece.
That's cool.
These are the fuses for these two leads that go to these two separate amplifiers. We've got the subwoofer amplifier here from Audio Control, the ACM 1.300, and then we've got the Audio Control D-6.1200. So all the power wire, all the signal wire and speaker wires, that's all from New Concepts. We use two different power distribution blocks. One is for the positive leads and then one is for the ground. The amplifier rack is completely made out of PVC. We showed that build process in the video. We have a piece of Velcro here, much like these two pieces from the factory, that secures that cover in place, and it all locks around the outside perimeter too. But again, the main goal here is your spare tire is, easily accessible. We can take it out of the vehicle, no problem at all.
I really like the way it looks, and I know when we originally talked about doing this vehicle, the original thought was that the spare tire was going to have to be left out, that there wouldn't be enough room. But this is,
way more practical.
It's a lot more practical. It was put in space. It's really dead space. It wasn't really being used for anything.
Yep.
And
Other than the tools for changing the spare tire, which were here in the foam, but we just relocated those to underneath, so you can just grab those.
Yeah, they're fine. Well. They're fine underneath there.
I didn't really actually mention this in any of the videos, but when I was originally talking about this project with my dad, we were talking about using the spare tire space for the subwoofer because I didn't think that we would have enough airspace in the OEM spot. But once we started talking with JL Audio and determining how we could use the stealth enclosure, and you're going to see I didn't think it'd be enough airspace, but for what it is and for what, the design goal is of this system to be a daily driver, to be more of a sound quality oriented build, it jams and it sounds good. So we'll get into that. And then we have one more thing here that you haven't seen yet, so don't look there quite yet. We're going to save that for last. Now that we're in the vehicle, the first part of the build that I did here was your aftermarket radio. This was sponsored by Crutchfield. We did a Pioneer radio in here, double DIN, that gives you wireless CarPlay. It also has wireless Android Auto. So you guys can check out that video. That was done quite a while ago. That was like the first step of this project. And you enjoyed just the radio for a while with the stock speakers. So we're going to be able to get kind of an A against B comparison from, just upgrading the head unit to actually doing a full system. And then up on the A pillars here, we have our new C7 component speakers from JL Audio. We did a component tweeter, a 3.5-inch mid-range, and then in the doors is a 6.5-inch speaker. These speakers are designed exclusively to use with an active system. They actually don't have a passive crossover network. So They are ran directly off the amplifier, active. We do have a protection crossover on the tweeters just in case there were any issues with the DSP. That way we don't potentially damage the tweeters. The baffles on the A-pillars are completely made out of acrylic, so it's all plastic materials, and then we have fiberglass and body filler products that we use to actually mold the shape and wrap them. And then in the doors, you obviously can't see it right now because we went with more of the OEM stealth look. We did plastic speaker adapters to actually space the speaker far enough away from the door that we had enough clearance, and it's always good to have the speaker to be close to the grill as much as we can without obviously hitting the grill. And that was the other thing I forgot to mention earlier. I was actually thinking about this. There is 0 wood in this vehicle, so everything is either acrylic or a PVC type plastic. Everything, matches the OEM design and construction of the vehicle. So appearance-wise, what do you think?
It really looks like it came from the factory this way. It doesn't look like it's been any aftermarket. It looks scaled, appropriate to everything else that's in the vehicle.
So now what you've been waiting for, what really matters, we have to get into the sound test here. And just so you guys know, I am going to be using some music that is copyrighted, so I'm going to mute that part of the video. I want to use music that he's familiar with so you can kind of rehear it again for the first time. But after we do that for kind of the initial impression, I do have some royalty-free tracks that I'm going to play as well. All right, so we've got the car started up. I'm going to play your first song for you here. We're playing Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. This is from the audiophile collection. It's a FLAC file, so completely lossless audio. You ready? Here we go.
Great. That's awesome.
All right, so first impressions.
It's better than I thought it could be. I've sat in your vehicle, and I know what that sounds like, and just first impression, it really sounds, I think, just as good.
Oh yeah.
The music I listen to doesn't have quite as much bass to it,
right?
But it's still a lot, and this has got every bit that I'd ever need or want.
Right.
I mean, I can feel it when we have it turned up. I can feel the bass.
Yeah.
And it sounds really good. Probably the first thing I noticed is when I sat in your vehicle one time was you notice how everything is so clear.
Yeah.
You can hear the different frequencies, all the different instruments, the drums, and all the different parts of the percussion part that is separate and different frequencies, and you can really hear that. Spatially, the instrumentation comes from different places.
Yeah.
And it's not from the speakers. It's within the vehicle in different areas. The bass, you really can't detect exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's just here. It's in the area. It doesn't sound like it's coming from a specific spot.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's coming from the back. The other thing I want to reiterate that you touched on is, a lot of guys will think, oh, I don't need a subwoofer because I don't listen to rap music. But even when you listen to, rock music or some more classical, you like a lot of orchestra type music. Adding a subwoofer adds a ton of, you mentioned the word earlier, it adds a lot of depth to the music. The other thing, you mentioned the drums. I really noticed with these speakers that, like you were saying, you can't really locate the sub. The sub blends really well with the front from the standpoint of, with the drums, when you're hearing that fast kick drum or even the attack on the snare drum, you can you feel that impact, but it sounds very natural and real, like you have a drummer almost in here. So
right,
it sounds super good. I wanted to get your impression before I said what I thought of it, and I am extremely impressed with, one, these speakers, two, like you said, it's really hard to locate the speakers. It's like you said, I feel like we're not hearing the speakers, we're hearing the actual sound. So it turned out good. So let's do a little bit of royalty-free music listening. I want you guys to be able to hear a little bit of audio bites from this as well. Remember that it's not the same experience as being here when you're listening over your phone or over your speakers. You're hearing your speakers, you're not hearing this actual vehicle. But just to give you guys kind of an idea, let's get into this.
Can't really explain how good it actually sounds,
Yeah.
and
I wish you guys could be here with us and listen and actually hear it in person. But yeah, really happy. I gotta show you a little surprise in the back. So the last thing I wanted to show you is, I know you mentioned that you wanted, my logo in here somewhere so you could kind of show off that it was built by CarAudioFabrication. So what I came up with is this guy right here. If you come in close, ready? Check it out.
Oh, that is cool.
Go ahead and read it.
That's it. Let's see, Dad's Daily Driver, built by CarAudioFabrication and sponsored by, let's see, Audio Control, Mobile Solutions,
Sound Shield?
Sound Shield, yeah, I gotta take my glasses off because I am the dad. JL Audio, Crutchfield, and New Concepts.
Yep. So got all the sponsors there. Big thanks to all of them for, helping out with this project. It definitely turned out. What do you think?
It's awesome. I can't. I'm going to be the envy of everybody I work with. Even though I'm an old guy, I still think young.
Yeah.
And I like music, and I'm on the road quite a bit for my work, so it really helps the time go by faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I really just don't want to be driving around and can't listen to talk radio, old guy stuff all day long.
Yeah, you got to jam out.
Got to listen to good music, and so anyway, it's exactly how I envisioned I would like it to be.
Perfect. That's what we were going for, right? That's always good to hear. Yeah, and I like that you said it really does help the long drives go by. I mean, that's one of the big things that the car audio industry always pushes, is the fact that a lot of us commute long distances to work. Why not enjoy that time in the vehicle, and why not have it sound awesome while you're in there? Now, my friends, don't forget that I've captured every step of the install and build here in videos on the channel. To see each of those videos, check out the links down in the video description. I already have another build that I'm working on, this time for a smart car. To learn more about that build and to see other builds in the future, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. A big thank you to all the sponsors of this build, along with Lonnie, Ali, William, Marcos, Jerry, and the rest of the Patreon membership team. A big thanks to all these guys for coming together and making these videos happen. I hope to see you in the next video, and I thank you for watching.